What's up, people? My name's Ahmad, and welcome back to yet another video. This one, I'm talking about Devotion of Suspect X, or the movie that's called Suspect X or Jaane Jaan. If you have seen that film, I would highly recommend you watch this film because, as someone who's read the book, as someone who loves reading books, and as someone who's seen multiple adaptations of books on screen and been burned by it, I must tell you that Jaane Jaan, also called Suspect X, is a very good adaptation of the book. Like I'm sure Jaane Jaan, if it was shown to the author Kaigo Higashino, he would be proud of the adaptation, and that is something that I really look for in a TV show or a movie, especially if it's adapted from a book. Now, quite frankly, there are a lot of things that the movie does well. Firstly, let's talk about Vijay Varma's character. He plays the detective in the film. I must tell you, there is an inherent difference between the detective in the book and the detective that Vijay Varma plays. The detective in the book is supremely well read and is a genius to a level that he's actually a professor and he's asked by the police to help out on cases that they can't solve. That's how good of a detective character from the books is. Vijay Varma's character, although not at the same level, I must tell you, does a very good job in playing a convincing detective. He follows every lead to the end and is finally able to capture the perpetrator. I would highly recommend that you watch and read both of them. I've been telling people to read Devotion or Suspect X for so long that I cannot tell you how much of an impact it's had, that to a point where I cannot read a thriller book and not compare it to Devotion or Suspect X. And I think Jaane Jaan is quickly moving in that direction as well, that if I watch a thriller film, I'm going to compare it to Jaane Jaan really quickly because it does a lot of things well, like especially how it sets up the characters, the cinematography, which is beautifully, and the locations that they've chosen throughout the films, absolutely beautiful. Sujoy Ghosh is a brilliant director, and we've seen that in his previous works, Badla. If you've seen Typewriter, I would highly recommend Typewriter as well. It's on Netflix. It's a TV series, a short 4 episode, 5 episode ghost story that he talks about. I would really recommend that show as well. But Sujoy Ghosh is a wonderful director and he has a knack of getting the most out of the story and his characters, and that's what he does in Jaane Jaan. Vijay Varma's character, flawlessly played. Then you have Kareena Kapoor's character, who's throughout the film, you feel bad for her and you understand why she's done what she's done. Like how the character is essentially using the situation she's ended up in to her advantage. And then you have the star of the film, Jaideep Alawat, and I personally feel his performance throughout the film is what makes the film. In fact, anybody else playing that character would not have been able to pull it off. He makes the character creepy, he makes the character lovable, and he finds a balance between the both of them. There is an inherent notion of devotion that he has to Kareena Kapoor's character, Maya D'Souza, and that is essentially the root of the book as well. He's a mathematician in the book as well, which is told in a very interesting way in the movie. He finds improbable solutions, not impossible, improbable solutions to problems that he is in, and that's what this movie is also about. I would highly recommend that you watch this film because it is quite easily one of the most entertaining and jaw-dropping films that I've seen this year. For the 2 hours that I had not looked away for almost a single second, I was glued onto the screen. Even though I know the story, I've read the book, I know exactly what's going to happen, and that's how beautifully the story is done. I would highly recommend you watch this film because it does show you a wide range of emotions. The performances of Vijay Varma, Jaideep Alawat, and Kareena Kapoor really come together to deliver a film that's completely sensible. You know what? You'd enjoy watching this film. The cinematography, like I mentioned, is really well done. The editing is really smart. The nuances in the story that are in the book have been translated more or less for the screen. There are a couple of moments in the film that are a little desi, but I understand that. I understand why they did that. And also, the best thing, they did not change the ending. Well, not all of it at least. some of it, like they have it down to 95%, 97% of what the book is. Right at the end, like towards the end, there are a couple of things that were changed, but I'm going to let that slide because they did like 97% of the work, and that's brilliant. Yeah. Peace. That's been my time, and see you in the next one really soon.